President Biden told Iran, don't. And it did. But is Biden giving power now to the Islamic Republic and hanging Israel out to dry?
It's ironic that we find ourselves in the all too familiar position of talking about a long list of deterrence failures by the Biden administration.
Mr. President, don't. Stop it. Support Israel. With respect, go to Amazon and buy a spine online.
We've gone from peace through strength to war through weakness.
It's no surprise that Biden is doing more to constrain Israel than he is to constrain Iran.
President Biden told our closest Middle East ally that the U.S. would not take part in any counterstrike, or as the New York Post puts it, Iran your own. Peter Doocy at the White House. Peter.
And Harris, the Biden-Iran policy is kind of hard to understand because on the one hand, you've got officials saying that President Biden's support for Israel is unwavering. But then you've got officials telling us that President Biden and the U.S. will not support Israel if they launch a counterstrike against Iran.
It's hard to look at what President Biden has done with respect to Iran and say that he hasn't been tough on Iran, or that we haven't put pressure on them, that we haven't additional 500 sanctions, additional resources.
President Biden also told Netanyahu after missile defenses knocked down about 99% of Iran's incoming missiles to take the win. That is according to a report in Axios. But that is really lacking in terms of support for Israel in the eyes of Republican critics on Capitol Hill who want the president to do more than just consult G7 allies about strong diplomatic options.
Parade of horribles you just mentioned, Trey, I want to stress is happening because Joe Biden has projected weakness all around the world. Russia did not invade Ukraine on Donald Trump's watch. He did on Barack Obama and Joe Biden's watch. Iran would have never thought to shoot 300 missiles and drones at Israel when Donald Trump was president.
This is a White House that over the last couple of years has unfrozen billions of dollars of money that is now in the leaders of Iran's hands. They insisted it couldn't be used to fund attacks or buy weapons, but these attacks have not stopped. Harris.
Well, and they don't pay for themselves. Peter Doocy, thank you very much. Two headlines in the Wall Street Journal. Biden wanted to avoid a regional war. Now he's got one. U.S. deterrence fails again as Tehran shows it's willing to take risks while Biden tries to restrain Israel. In focus, Florida Republican Congressman Brian Mast, member of the House Foreign Affairs Committee and also the Subcommittee for the Middle East, North Africa, and International Terrorism. And a decorated member of our armed forces. He is retired. You saw him saluting earlier. I want to lean on your acumen in terms of that and talk to me about what it means to, as the president told Benjamin Netanyahu and the War Council, take the win.
For the administration to say this. You were able to knock some drones out of the sky, maybe 300 Shahed 136 carrying a payload of, let's say, roughly 100 pounds of ordnance, each one of them. We helped you knock them out of the sky. Let's just leave it at that, and let's allow them to regroup and maybe do something more substantial. Let's allow them to regroup and realize that, as the administration said, they're not going to have your back in retaliating. Let's allow them to regroup while you have 40 Democrats in the House, one of them being Nancy Pelosi, a pretty mainstream Democrat, going out there and saying, let's essentially embargo and sanction Israel in this literal time of war by not transferring any further arms to Israel, which is what the letter they literally wrote last week said. And this is the message that Democrats, the Biden administration, and House Democrats, it's what they're all sending to Iran and to any foreign intelligence agencies out there that are paying attention to this conflict.
Look, with all the committees you sit on, I feel like I can ask you this question. We don't have a lot of details, I would imagine, about what North Korea could put on a plane. But it is not outside the bounds that Iran could put a warhead that has a nuclear tip on it and send it wherever it wanted to with some help and maybe 48 hours notice. What would that look like in terms of a game change? And I don't want to telegraph something that hasn't happened yet. But look, they didn't have to give a heads up. What happens when they don't?
Slightly outside of your question and say something that's maybe more probable. We know that Iran has fissile material. We know that they have heavy water reactors, that they've been working towards building nuclear weapons. So maybe they can't quite create the Oppenheimer scenario yet, but that doesn't mean that they can't create a dirty warhead, a dirty payload, fissile material spread across Israel by the disbursement of 300 separate drones that are being fired in their direction, making areas essentially unusable. That's absolutely realistic. It's been a realistic threat for a long time. So, I'm not going to speculate on whether North Korea might hand them something or whether, Russia or somebody else. Obviously, there's a great alliance between Iran and Russia there as well. I won't speculate on that one, but let's say certainly they have fissile material, and that would be in the realm of possibility and probably even probability.
That's helpful information. And the reason I would go to like a North Korea is because it's ready-made. But from what you're saying, it doesn't have to be ready-made, and it certainly doesn't have to be perfect. It could be a dirty situation using the materials that they have already on ground. All right. Back in 2020, then candidate Joe Biden called out then President Donald Trump for getting, quote, dangerously close to starting a war with Iran. If you haven't seen it recently, watch this.
A president who says he wants to end endless wars in the Middle East is bringing us dangerously close to starting a brand new one. A president who says he wants out of the region sends an additional 18,000 plus troops to deal with a crisis of his own making. An administration that claims its actions have made America safer, in the same breath, urges our citizens to leave Iraq, puts Americans throughout the region on notice because of the increased danger that now exists.
It was almost like he was telling his own future about himself.
The Biden administration, that the accusations that they make are the crimes that they themselves are actually committing. And this goes with their foreign policy as well. We see, as many have spoken about, you don't have a peace through strength policy with the Biden administration. It's been characterized many ways, and you don't have to decode what they're saying as well. They're crystal clear with our allies, with America's allies. We will not have your back in this situation. That's what leads to the weakness. And let's bring this back to one other place. Former CENTCOM General McKenzie, head of CENTCOM under Biden, he has been very clear now that he's out of uniform that the Biden administration quite literally took Iran off the table as a target. He actually characterized it as giving aid and comfort to our enemy. And if you take them off the target list, then they are actually, there's no deterrence for them whatsoever.
Why would they do that?
And that's what he quantified as very problem, because the Biden administration has no sense of what peace through strength actually means. And that's where, again, McKenzie said it very well himself. That's giving aid and comfort to our enemy.
Congressman Mast, thank you for being in focus today.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.